For reading number 2, we're going to be looking for words that we don't know in the poem. So I chose ones that were important, that if you didn't know what they meant, it would be difficult for you to understand what the poem means as a whole. So I'm going to read the poem again because this is reading number 2. So you read the poem a second time, and we'll highlight these words as we come to them. And then we'll try to figure out as much as possible with context clues rather than going to a dictionary what these words mean. So she walks as if favoring a sore foot, and her one hand can't distinguish coins from stones. Mostly, she imagines, no one knows. At last week's dance, a boy with sleek hair kissed her in the corner. Tonight, her youth group is doing a yearly good deed. Leaning on a wall, she watches guests crowd the auditorium in wheelchairs. Skewed legs rack with sudden currents. Arms lay folded and stiff like cooked wings. Her friends hold the twisted hands in their own, then sway, grace among the wheels. She'll choose a partner among the palsied strangers when there's a song she can get lost in. It will be like dancing with her secret self. All right, so looking at our words over here, the first word is favoring. It says she walks as if favoring a sore foot. So if you favor something, something is your favorite, you usually choose it over the other, or you preference it over the other. So we can picture somebody who has a sore foot and they're choosing not to walk on that foot, and that would produce a sort of limp. So to favor means to prefer or protect in this case. So she's choosing the one foot over the other. The second word is sleek. So at last week's dance, a boy with sleek hair kissed her in the corner. So we can probably picture if somebody has their hair slicked back, like if it's smoothed back. There aren't a lot of context clues here because you could substitute in, like, at last week's dance, a boy with messy hair kissed her in the corner, and there really isn't any context clue to tell you that that's wrong. But in this case, sleek and slicked are kind of related. So it means it's smoothed back, it's slicked back. So it's probably somebody who is somewhat attractive. So like a cute boy kissed her in the corner. Now we have the word skewed. Skewed legs rack with sudden currents. So maybe we should go down to currents first, actually. So we have different types of currents. We have electrical currents, we have water currents. There's like current events. There's all sorts of different ways that you could look at that. One important thing about cerebral palsy is that it has to do with brain damage and the way that your brain communicates with your body. The way that your brain typically communicates with your body is through electrical currents, and your brain will send messages down and tell your body what to do. Those wires get destroyed in the brain of somebody who has cerebral palsy. So their body reacts in very spastic sort of ways. So there's a lot of like spasms, jumpy movements. It's not like a smooth, coordinated movement in somebody who has cerebral palsy. So when they're talking about currents here, these are like electrical pulses. And when it says that they rack, it means that they kind of jerk, move quickly. And then skewed, it might be helpful if we look that word up and look at the images. So I looked up skewed legs cerebral palsy, so you could kind of see what that looks like. So like this little, looks like a child's legs, how they're kind of tucked together. You can see that in some of these other pictures as well. That's what it means by skewed legs. This little boys here are a good example as well. So it means that they're kind of like crooked, twisted, they're not straight. So we have crooked or twisted, not straight. So if we substitute those in, it's like crooked legs jerk with sudden pulses, like sudden blasts of electrical activity from the brain. And then she'll choose a partner among the palsied strangers. We know that this author has cerebral palsy, and those words are really related. So, palsy just means it's a trait or having cerebral palsy. So, if you are palsied, it means that you have cerebral palsy. So, she is choosing a partner among the palsied strangers. That means that the people at this event that she's volunteering at have cerebral palsy, and so does she. So she's volunteering at this dance to work with people who have the same disorder that she has, the same condition that she has, except they have it much worse. They have much more severe symptoms than she does. If there are any other words that you don't know, you can jot them down and look them up and use context clues yourself. But I'm going to stop this video and pick up with reading number 3. So I'll see you over there.